Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the College COD League, where we are getting ready to jump in towards our next match. And well, this one should be a very interesting one because we are down in towards the losers bracket for ourselves, as it will be Rutgers Scarlet up against ASU Esports. So a very exciting one. Arizona did just give Concord Maroon a pretty good run as they sent them all the way to a map number 5. So that's been very exciting. And then, of course, we have Rutgers who dropped down probably a little bit earlier than most of us had expected, but it should nonetheless be a very exciting matchup that we have here proper.
You are very right to say if you can go ahead and just assume that no one was expecting, like you said, for Rutgers to get knocked down to the losers bracket that earlier on. You can take a look at the players that we're going to be dealing with. Rutgers Scarlet, the 8th overall seed coming out of their division. It's Lou, Protocol, Quanic, Reckless. Well, Quanic's actually on there twice. Man, that absolutely bamboozled me. I almost ran right through that. Good try, Benji. You can't fool me, as we all know that it's going to be Yachty, or Yodi, however you decide to pronounce it today, is going to end up being Rutgers Scarlet. There it is right there. You saw the text coming right on the screen. That was insane. But for ASU Esports Arizona State, this team just came off of a hot 5 map set, like you said, versus Concord Maroon, the number 1 seed overall in winners round number 2, to where they actually kept things relatively close, apart from the last search and destroy and the first hard point. But those 3 maps in between were absolutely fantastic. So Cotter's Bounty, Flashy, Godfather, and Effectini are looking to continue on their hot streak and being able to upset Rutgers Scarlet here and sending them home very early on.
And that seems like a possible possibility. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at what they just did, right? Like, yeah, I mean, first of all, Concord Maroon has not dropped a single map up in towards that series that they just played against Arizona, where they lost to round 11 and they had actually lost a hard point. So that gives me a lot of confidence in this Arizona squad that I maybe wasn't giving them off the beginning of the prediction show that we had done. So definitely have the potential to maybe upset Rutgers, who again do not look like they are maybe up towards that same level that they have brought in towards the season. Well, you take a look at that season stat line, and you have 17-4 in hardpoint, 14-4 search and destroy, domination 14-3. Those are some great looking win-loss ratios for us proper, but they need to try and reflect that in towards the playoff run at the moment, and more than anything, show us that they are that same dominant team that we have them ranked at that 8th seed.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and forget about that. One of those losses for Rutgers in the regular season was against RIT, of which they played it in a 4v5 fashion, so RIT were more or less gifted to that one. But their other loss was actually to Humber. It was an 0-3, and it was not close. Arizona, on the other hand, though, they seem to have been powering themselves up throughout the entirety of this. You can go ahead and pull up their stats. They aren't the sexiest stats in the world. You see hardpoint at 16-5, searches at 14-6, domination at 14-3. But overall, it's going to be interesting to see how hot and heavy Arizona are willing to bring it to this Rutgers squad, finishing 4th overall in the West Division. They are the 15th seed, but again, bringing Concord to 5 maps. Now, that's a feat within its own self, considering that they were also gifted the round 1, considering that Liberty Red could not participate in the playoffs, but Rutgers are on a warpath. They beat Maryland 3-0 in the losers round 1, maybe a little bit of a mismatch coming through for them. The Maryland squad not finding themselves any breaks, getting knocked down yesterday by LA Tech, but that loss 1-3 against the Raging Cajuns in winners round number 1, you can expect that this Rutgers Scarlet team does not want to go home too early.
No, I mean, it would be very upsetting to see that team knocked out this early into our tournament, like you just said. But I mean, you kind of bring up the fact that you did just go through a very long series with Concord Maroon, and I think overall everybody had expected Concord Maroon to take that series. And the fact that they were able to put up that much of a fight, well, maybe this Arizona squad's like, hey, listen, guys, like we just gave the first 2 losses towards Concord Maroon, and now we're gonna of course, drop down. We don't clutch up in the game number 5, but it's like, listen, we can maybe rally together and make a little bit of a losers bracket run. And once you start getting a little bit of momentum going for yourself in that losers bracket, that run is very, very possible. And it all starts right here with a big potential upset. But this Rutgers squad, we've heard plenty of people talk about them, about how Humber in specific talks about them getting the season. Listen, like, guys, do not sleep on this squad. They're actually very good. They had taken a map off of them in that set that they did end up losing against Humber, where they said it didn't happen as easy as they thought it was going to. So there was some great talk about them during the regular season, but maybe there's a factor in whether or not they can actually clutch up against some teams that can give them a good contention within these matches in towards the playoffs, where intensity is obviously a lot higher. There's a lot more on the line, and well, more than anything, there's something on the line, because if you lose this series, well, goodbye to the CCL season 2, because you would no longer be in it.
Yeah, and speaking of that series, so you can see the map set right below our beautiful faces. Gunrunner Hardpoint is where we're going to be starting things off. Ramaza Search and Destroy, and then Gunrunner will come back as a reprise, but for the domination will be the first 3 maps. And if we have to go to 4 and 5, it's going to be an Azure Cave Hardpoint, and then an Arkloff Peak Search and Destroy. That Arkloff Peak Search and Destroy, if you are Arizona State, you do not want to be seeing that one again. They lost that to Concord Maroon 6-1. Though against this Rutgers Scarlet team, maybe they might find a little bit more of a foothold against this team as a whole. But players to be watching out for exclusively, like you said, this Rutgers Scarlet team has been talked about. One of those people that have been talking about the team as a whole is actually one of their players. It's their captain. I'm talking about Lou. Lou is a very vocal player. It's also a very good player that you got to be looking out for along with Protocol. But on the other side for Arizona State University, you're going to be on the lookout for Cotters. Can they end up finding themselves a handful of kills to break on forward to turn the tides in their favor? Map number 1, Gunrunner Hardpoint, is underway. And starting off on the favorite side is ASU Esports.
And we'll see if they can hold on to that favorite side, as player number 7 might have actually got all the way through. So this is a potential chance to already flip out the P2 spawns. That's a good snap from Yodi, who's going to be able to find the first one. And his teammates are now kind of rallied with him. So the spawns are close enough to behind Cole where they might be able to lock it down, but they are still very much fighting for it. Bounty takes some shots in the back through the window. Will not be able to react fast enough as Reckless does find one. There's still one more player in the back. While all this happens, we have ASU that's simply sitting on top of the hill, grabbing all of this extra time for you, but they have now lost the spawns, so this is going to have to rally together for some good amount of points that comes through on this first hill, and then try to find some breakthroughs leading into the next.
Absolutely. I mean, Rutgers Scarlet just running straight through the cargo containers, straight through the showers, and run right over ASU. And in that first gunfight, they are already flipped the spawn. So ASU are going to count their blessings. They've already found 37 seconds on towards P1, and now it's going to be a tall task to try to break in towards P2. I like the hesitation. I like the resilience coming through thus far. The Protocol actually works their way right back into the coal mines, and they will be gunned down by Effectini, but that's one less player that they're going to have in their name. 3 players now for Rutgers Scarlet getting traded off, spawned over by the coal mines, and this is going to be really tough for ASU now as they have lost 2 members. Now it just comes down to these remaining 3 to try to break the south side of the munitions depot in hope that they can get a foothold on the P2. But Rutgers Scarlet, they're right around the corner.
Effectini does find 2 before he gets cut down. Almost a quick snap from the Godfather. The Quantic is there. So Rutgers Scarlet, they do get 43 points away from P number 1, but over to P2, they have done a great job of getting the very first initial 30 points in. There's still 20 seconds up for grab. We could see one more hit that comes through from player number 5, but Effectini able to turn that in towards anything for himself. But he's off to a hot start, 8-3. Not so much for Flashy. Flashy needs to start flashing on stream for us as he's off to 0-6. Finally gets his first kill. But the rotation now goes through Rutgers Scarlet. They grab themselves a full hold at this P2 spawn. Now it will be the setup already for them as they have rotated early and beat out ASU.
Yeah, this is one of the more standing out rotations from 2 to 3. If you can turn that scrap into getting initial time on P3, it can get really scary here. By ASU, however, they're looking a little bit further down the line. They're looking for 4 and 5. They have the spawns on the backside of the warehouse, which means that they can flood their numbers up through the staircase and maybe work a pinch on the opposing side of that heady of that wall. They're able to find themselves a break. It's going to be Flashy and Godfather are going to be able to work their way up the staircase, but Rutgers Scarlet, Yodi comes right back into the mix and finds themselves 2. Effectini's going to be right there for the trade, but the numbers are so good for Rutgers. They still hold the lead, although it's not by much. They're able to get the turn back for the scrap time here, Austin, and they're able to get P3 back in their name. ASU, on the other hand, they're going to put in 2 players to start rotating over towards the cargo containers. So that way they can get the initial time over here, but Rutgers Scarlet are about to meet them at the door.
Yeah, they have to try and push through so that they can play for those favorite spawns leading in towards that P5 at Warehouse. I have to see what Lou will try and do for himself, but in towards the new hardpoint we will go. And well, so far so good for Rutgers Scarlet. Other than the first hill, ASU have only actually gathered just about 7 points off of these last couple of hills. So Rutgers Scarlet turning up the heat a little bit and have not seen a match from anybody in ASU. Nobody really having a great game except for Effectini at the moment, who's 12-6. The rest of the members currently negative on the squad. Not a whole lot of time collected from anyone else either, so you need almost the whole squad to kind of step it up right now, as we'll see Bounty at least start things off with the very first one. That's a good break from Effectini. He might even be able to look for another one on top. This finds 3, but where is the help? He is almost solo breaking the hill by himself. The Rutgers Scarlet have no one else to worry about, so this will be just another full hold for them proper.
Just 12 seconds, some of that time going up towards the game clock. It's going to be very scary. 54 to 138 and counting up in Rutgers' favor. Lou has been going off on a tear. They're double positive. They are 10-4, by the way. That is just terrifying to try to deal with. Every single member now outside of Quantic have a positive KD ratio. Yodi's at 11-11. Now Rutgers Scarlet, they're looking to turn all of these kills that they have into map pressure. The only trouble here is that ASU have been able to hold on to the west side of the map since P3. So now they're going to be able to put coders up on towards this big box and just hope that they can fend things off as best as they possibly can, but they're going to need some help coming on through. Bounty and Flashy, they're right there to take down 4. Lou did take down Effectini before going down themselves, but now the lone survivor is Yodi right on the south side of the warehouse building. They work their way in. The pinch comes through off the respawn. Rutgers are contesting the point, and they get a very late break. ASU, on the other hand, they're going to take these spawns, and they're going to be looking towards a second set of hills. Rutgers Scarlet, they're going to be walking in towards a second rotation of hardpoint with just about almost 100-point lead. That is terrifying.
Very terrifying indeed. And while this ASU squad do at least get about 36 points off of that hill for us on P5, and they do have the favorite side, but look who slipped by. Player number 8, Quantic, has gotten behind enemy lines. It looks like they might know about this as they now have spotted him. He finds one. He does not find the second. So the spawns are still going to come through for ASU. But the last time we were at P1, well, it was just a full-on hold from ASU. But Yodi on your screen, he is on a 4 spree, 15-11 at the moment. He's looking to even make that more as he will find himself the 5th in a row, looking for the rotation through while Rutgers Scarlet are grabbing the time. He's unable to make it anything more, but that is fine. He's got his team so many extra points. Protocol in this U area will piece together a couple of kills for himself, so now they're going to have to try and rally together with a strong hold leading in towards this P2, and ASU have been good on these rotations for these money hills, but they have not been holding it fully, and Rutgers have been looking to find some breakthroughs and some holes in the defensive line.
Spree after spree. Rutgers Scarlet now have 3 players that continuously find themselves on spree. Lou was the first, Yodi, and then Protocol just went down after going 5 straight, breaking past P1. Now ASU find themselves with a little bit of a benefit. Sure, you can say that, but going in towards P2, they were still down by a 100-point margin. This hill, Austin, is where they can start coming back from this deficit. Off a respawn, they gotta win the gunfights, but Effectini, they spawn in right into the iron sights of Quantic, who takes them down. They get traded, but Yodi's already working in here along with Lou, and Rutgers Scarlet are able to find the break. 35 seconds left on towards P2. One more good hit is coming through for Arizona State University, and they're going to be able to find it, while they're also sending player number 3, that's Bounty, over towards the coal mine area to get the initial time onto the hill, but there's still scrap time available. Yodi understands that along with Lou and Quantic, and they work themselves in towards P2. They get that late break needed, and now it's just come down to Flashy to try to get some exit eliminations rather, and they're going to get gunned down in the process.
Both teams about split time on this P2 hill for us. But the rotation into P3, ASU are set up first. Lou will find 1 entry, might find 2 as he shuts down Flashy and lets him know he shut him down. Looking for more as he's picked up an M4A1, but Effectini, he's been playing so well so far for his squad. He just has not had that same help that the rest of the members on Scarlet have had from their star player at the moment, with Lou playing really well as Protocol. And while talking about Protocol, he's the AR on your screen that looks to find some of these breakthrough moments. So the first 20 seconds has been good for ASU Esports, as Godfather will actually put together 3 kills in a row for himself. Almost will get turned on, as Coders will be able to shut down Reckless. And a team kill also drops in. So maybe this is your moment where you start to come to life. This has been 40 seconds over towards ASU. You have the favorite side of the map leading in towards P5, which could be the differential in the game. But you still, as Rutgers Scarlet at the moment proper, you just need another 23 points and you're going to close this one out. So you have to play near perfect on this rotation and have to find the break. Yeah,
you're going to need some help over here. If you're ASU, start taking these spawns off of P5 and then start anchoring at least 1 at a time, so that way you can keep the warehouse spawns in your favor, so that way you can continue to play this flawlessly. Initial time is going to go over to Rutgers. They found the kills that they needed. Now they're full on stacking inside the cargo containers. They get the initial kills. 238 and counting on up. There's still 47 seconds left. Running on in with a little bit of a man on a mission. ASU, they need a little bit more kills if they're going to want to complete this mission. Coders are able to find 2. Effectini's right there to find the 3rd. But the hill is going up towards the game clock. Now getting players and the backup there for Arizona State University is huge for them. So that way they can start getting this hill in their favor. Big kill there from Bounty onto Yodi, as Yodi was trying to work their way over towards the oil turbine in hopes that they can get the P5 spawns. But the story here is P4. You only need 8 seconds if you're Rutgers Scarlet, and they can still win it here.
He gets up 4 Ps. He's doing it all. He almost finds 5. He's still got players in front of him, so Rutgers Scarlet cannot win off this. Quantic does find 2, but it does not matter. ASU Esports, they have the big spawn leading in towards the hill that we've been highlighting. This is the money hill. If you can get into a setup, you could actually even more than likely bring yourself a win off of it. It will be 205 to 243. Effectini is still ripping Rutgers Scarlet to pieces as he has been finding multi-kill after multi-kill. Jody has an entryway in towards the hill. Lou does find 2, but Godfather in the back will be able to shut him down. Lou watches that rotation as now the spawn information will be good. And Rutgers Scarlet, well, they just need another 7 seconds, but it's being held so well from ASU Esports. This is coming down to the wire proper. The comeback is very possible.
It is very possible. The numbers advantage, like you said, are still here for ASU in P5. Effectini is going huge for their team. 33 and 23, they are plus 10. Like you said, they are finding themselves multi-kill after multi-kill. Only 4 seconds needed now for Rutgers Scarlet to close things out. The point is contested. It is now in the favor for Rutgers Scarlet. They get the kills needed, 249, and no player for ASU will get there in time, but damn was that close coming through the second set of hills. Effectini, they did everything they possibly could. They popped off for their team, but without a doubt, the slaying factor was just too much to handle there for Arizona State, and Rutgers Scarlet will take this first hard point, but it got really close to where that lead did start getting encroached on, and ASU, they started to come back from the depths. I almost believed that they were going to be able to play that flawlessly into a third set of hills, but damn. Effectini, 33 and 24. The next player soon to follow them was Coders at 25 and 27. All other players going negative outside of Bounty, who went 20 and 18. Maybe a lack of engagements for only having 27 seconds of hill time. But you take a look at the side for Rutgers Scarlet. You have Reckless at 25 and 25. Lewin 27 and 21. Breaking even was Protocol at 27. 24 and 22 for Yodi. This team was consistent across the board, and they shared hill time along the way.
Yeah, the biggest problem seemed like there was just not enough help there going towards, Effectini, who was just popping, every single multi-kill that he could possible, getting a 4-piece there at one point where you saw the game ending kill cam for us. But, just a bit of a slow start that had happened. They got 43 seconds off of that initial hill, which, if anything, you do not see that very often. Sometimes you're lucky to get 15 or 20 seconds off of that initial hold. But it was that rotation that you highlighted, during the cast, where they had went from P2 in towards P3, and that just netted them so many extra points. I think that just that alone had broke through over 100 points for them leading in towards the P4 by crates. So just a bit of a tough moment there on that one rotation, and will just too much of a slow start for the remaining members on that ASU roster. But either way, they bring things back, and I mean, this team obviously has a lot of resilience, because they had went down in towards the map 1 against Concord Maroon, where they had then responded on towards map 2 with a round 11 win. So we do know that they have at least a bit of that ice and that clutch factor in them, but going towards this map 2, you obviously do not want to go 2-0 down. So on this Ramaza search and destroy, this is your chance to really bring things back and try to make sure there's a little bit more consistency across the board, as we are already here for map number 2, and the offensive start will be for ASU.
We will say this is Ramaza. I'm not saying that snipers are necessarily scarce here. You can pull off maybe a handful of angles, but to where ASU were playing off, I believe it was Piccadilly in the first search and then Arkoff Peak in the second. So gets a little bit scary here. If you are Rutgers, that maybe you can't pull out a sniper to be able to bamboozle ASU. Maybe they can meet gunfight for gunfight, but on offense first is Arizona State University. They find the first blood onto Protocol, and Yodi's going to be right there to fall as well. A full rush coming through on towards this bomb site inside the construction building, and it is paying off so heavily for ASU, and all the other members crumble for Rutgers after the bomb was planted. A pretty big and, effective first round victory on offense, nevertheless, there for Arizona State.
Yeah, and I mean, I talk about offenses, being so important on a map like Ramaz. I talked about it all day yesterday on the Toronto Ultracast for as far as if you're able to grab Ramaza offensive rounds and you can just simply get yourself into a setup of usually dictating more plays over towards the B site than A, you're in such a great spot because it is
Yeah.
not easy to grab offensive rounds on a map like Ramaza, especially when you don't have dead silence to actually work with. But now Rutgers Scarlet, they will look to respond in the same fashion, except a different approach towards the offensive side, as it will be a B hit, but Coders will be able to grab a very first kill on towards Lou. A smoke actually comes down defensively, and Protocol now is worried about someone rushing him, but as he worries, two of his teammates have already been cleaned up.
The zoning smoke there defensively just to keep them guessing. The gunfights soon to follow. But Rutgers, Austin, they have yet to find a single kill.
Oh my god.
There's only two players remaining, Quantic and Protocol. Effectini, we see through the X-rays, starting to work their way across towards the barbershop. Protocol is going to start poking out through the arches. Effectini is going to be right there. Still no kills for Rutgers across 2 rounds. ASU look like they are just refined here. Through 2 rounds, offense and defense, just absolutely fantastic play coming through for Arizona State University as they go up 2-0.
Quite literally perfect so far. And well, if you don't get any kills on this round number 3, I'm gonna start waving the white flag because things are looking a little bit scarce at the moment, but I'm not gonna count them out whatsoever. ASU Esports off to a fantastic start off the back end of a couple players. Effectini carrying some of that incredible performance there from map number 1 into towards map number 2, where he is 4-0 along with his teammate Coders, who's also 4-0. So it looks like it's another push towards A. They have a lot more members stacked towards the side of the map at the very least, so they could put a stop to it. Bounty has, however, opened up with first blood. We'll find Protocol. Godfather also finds Lou, and guess what? Proper still no kills at the moment for Rutgers.
Oh boy. Yeah, I like this rotation coming through. Quantic finds the first kill for Rutgers. I guess it's emphatic within its own self, and we can go ahead and pop the party poppers for now. Coder's going to be right there for the trade. Flashy still has the bomb, but this mid-map rotation coming through from ASU was very wise. It recognized the setup defensively for Rutgers across the construction site as Yodi also finds Flashy, so only a 1-player advantage now as Yodi ends up going down. And, well, this is going to be a free bomb site for Godfather to plant the bomb. Reckless is going to start working their way towards the bottom side of Cafe, but their dead silence has dissipated. So where do you go from here in this 1v3 if you're Reckless? It's going to be really tough. They go to the bottom side of Cafe, and you already know that this is going to be heavily guarded. We see it through the X-ray. Godfather is on the other side of the bomb site. The door is going to pop open. That's not the noise that you wanted to make, and well, Reckless is just going to go ahead and get themselves bombarded all the way to high heaven. ASU go up 3-0.
Not the start you want to have if you're Rutgers Scarlet. That's for damn sure.
The Godfather brings gifts, and those are Semtex.
That's right. He brings gifts, and well, we have not seen enough gifts on the side of Rutgers Scarlet in their favor. It has been.
If gifts are kills, then yeah, you're right.
That's right. But this will be another offensive approach coming through for the side of Rutgers Scarlet. They've yet to get anything going. They only had 2 kills on the board across 3 rounds. So ASU Esports, they are still just able to bring such an amazing level to this map number 2 after just falling short with almost a big comeback. And this is looking a lot more like the ASU Esports squad that put up a great fight towards Concord Maroon and took that map number 2 off of them in the round 11, as it looks like their search and destroy has cleaned up quite a bit from the regular season. We'll see if Quantic can now entry in. The smokes are down. No one has fallen just yet. Protocol up top. Could look to make a big play, but it will be Yodi who opens up. Effectini will respond with 1, and Bounty will respond with 1 of his own. So man advantage right over to ASU, but that's going to be responded with now a 3v3.
This timing pays off here for Flashies. They have dead silence popped. They're working their way. It's going to dissipate. The smoke will also dissipate as well, but Reckless has that more than scouted out. And now it's just going to come down to Bounty for a 1v3. Sliding straight into their DMs and then some more. Wow, down the stairs and all. Rutgers Scarlet find themselves a much-needed round win. And just, you don't want to end up going down 4-0 in a search and destroy. That can definitely cause a lot of problems, both mentally and in-game, for any search and destroy map. But, man, this ASU squad is turning heads, I tell you that much. Map 5 versus Concord Maroon, the #1 seed, and putting up a really good fight here. off and against Rutgers Scarlet. That hard point was relatively close if you're just now joining us. Now this search and destroy on Ramaza, where snipers and scopes can't come out to play. You can see that ASU find themselves a lot of comfort. Back to where they did their first offense. Quantic finds the shots on the P1 where Effectini was currently located at, passing by each other, giving themselves a little bit of high five, but Quantic gets the gun up in time to take down Flashies. That's a bomb drop. Yodi's able to complete for a backwards flank and able to find a member on the staircase going into the construction building. The bomb is in such a precarious position for Cotters and Godfather to be able to turn this back into their favor. They got to find 2 kills, bare minimum, before they even think about getting closer to this bomb.
Godfather, he spots one. Shots go down. No kill comes out, and he manages to get right over top of Quantic, just beams him. Finds another one in this round, but will not be able to find 4. However, this will be our Coders who will be caught in a 1v4 situation, which is really a 1v5. And with the bomb down, everybody completely fanned out across the map. Just have to. This one will be over as he does grab the second kill, but there was no time to get towards the bomb. So at least Rutgers Scarlet will respond with a couple of rounds, as unless he does some kind of a miracle play and gets himself immediately in, it looks like that will be a hard no. As I'm surprised he even got to be able to run through the middle of the map like that, despite there still being 3 members up. The Coders won't find any other kills. Rutgers Scarlet now find 2 rounds back-to-back.
And it was just all off the back end of Quantic, finding themselves really good timing, being able to find first blood across the P1 bridge. But most importantly, it was a little bit of a fumble. The bomb carrier for ASU didn't end up seeing Quantic as they just kind of bumped shoulders, as if they were passing by on a New York City subtrain. Didn't even be able to get the gunny up in time. That was just so unfortunate to see for ASU, who started off so stellar. Cotters is at 7-1. Flashies is yet to find a kill, yeah, but again, Rutgers Scarlet, you don't want them to start feeling themselves. If you're ASU, they're starting to really adapt things here on their offense, just being patient, waiting for ASU to show themselves in the open. Effectini will lose their head. The door's going to get popped open, and Quantic's going to pop the head.
Not where he wanted to throw the smoke.
Not at all.
Miscommunication maybe coming out, but we'll have to see if now this actually puts a stop towards the push, because this smoke is so influential. It's usually the only reason you can come out of this mid-push like this. Yodi has now thrown a smoke so that his teammate might be able to get through, but they've now lost a couple of their players because of that little mishap. And the middle Reckless is able to get a nice little turn in the middle of the map as he rotates through. And though the bomb is making a very quick rush towards A, there is nobody on the side of ASU Esports that's going to be able to get the bomb planner off of the bomb itself. So this will be a 3v2 situation. ASU Esports have to look for a big retake.
Cotters. Sounds going to be able to get the angle. They're on a Reckless, so that's a big kill there. It's going to allow Godfather to start encroaching right outside the money and trying to find themselves ever so closer, but they get snuffed out by Lou. Now it's just going to end up being for a 1v3 for Cotters, which is essentially going to be a 1v4 as they've already found 2 kills, but they've been sighted out. Still have 16 seconds to play with. Yodi's going to start popping themselves down the staircase. A little bit of a juggle peek. Bits snap onto the head of Lou. And now it's just going to come down to Yodi. 6 seconds left to play. And you know the timing's going to have to be there. They just have to stick to the fuse. And now just by giving it up and even finding the kill, the timing is just not there. Cotters did everything they possibly could. They're at 11-2. But boy, howdy, does ASU need some help. Coders definitely need some help there.
3-3. First 3 rounds looked fantastic for ASU, where they weren't even dropping any of their players, to now a little bit of a nice comeback. 3 rounds straight responded with from Rutgers Scarlet, able to now get some kills on the board and start to make some very nice rotations through the middle of the map and towards a nice site at construction where they had just gotten complete control. So this will be now an offense back over towards ASU. We'll see if they try to change things up, and we'll take a look at Coders. This man's already 11-2. He's having a great game. 6 rounds in, already on double digits. That's the start you love to have. You know you're playing on fire, but you're going to have to keep that train rolling.
Oh my
Unfortunately,
God.
2 of his teammates have lost their individual gunfights, so this has already been 2 members dropping for ASU. Make it 3 as Rutgers Scarlet apparently are just figuring out this ASU squad in the middle of the search and destroy.
Yeah, I mean, in the middle of the map, too, it comes down to SMG presence like that. If you blinked, you probably miss all of those kills coming through in lightning fashion. Rutgers will take the lead. It's going to be 4-3. The back end of just well-executed positioning. Just, I mean, again, the SMG presence smack dab in the center of the map. It's not going to come down to individual gun skill. You got to end up winning this out just by sheer resilience and by just positioning alone. Search and destroy. You don't need to be the best slayer potentially. I mean, yeah, you got coders that were able to piece together a multitude of kills again in 11 and 3. It's very impressive at the end of the day, but take a look at how Rutgers were able to adapt after they got absolutely stuffed by trying to push the B bomb site continuously. It just didn't end up working in their favor, so they pulled themselves back, much like you see right here. ASU now have the opportunity to either do two things: wait for Rutgers Scarlet to come to you, or use your tacticals and your dead silence to try to work your way around a flank and towards them. ASU is going to take the latter. They're just going to end up waiting for Rutgers to make a move. The door's not going to be open for first blood this time around. Quantic Factini is not going to be around that side. They are towards the sandbags, however, but the door is not open. Going to come really down towards a first blood for Rutgers to really work their way into the bomb site, but they've already started working their way. Quantic actually finds Godfather for first blood, and inside the gun shop is Reckless. They're going to end up getting gunned down, and they're going to drop the bomb because of it. Quantic with Dead Silence going to find themselves perfect timing on the bounty, but it's still an even trade. 2 for 2. Rutgers, Quantic does have the bomb, and they have ripped the head off of Coders. This is actually a really big moment for Rutgers to then work themselves onto the B bomb site, potentially for a plant, but they also have an open opportunity just to find kills, and Lou's going to go ahead and take that with an open season, be able to find Effectini. Flashy can't even find themselves the first kill here in round number 8, and just like that, Rutgers Scarlet are going to put themselves on map point.
5 rounds straight. Rutgers Scarlet, they're figuring out ASU. They're figuring out some of those comfort positions that they like to do and some of those routes that they've been running. The A site has not been effective for them in these last couple offensive rounds anymore on top of it all. And while you're going now in towards a tough spot that you obviously do not want to be in. We'll have to see exactly if they're going to try and change things up at the moment, because A has been the only real dedicated hit that they've made, and then they've made rotations over towards B when they've had to kind of change things up due to where the positioning has been for Rutgers Scarlet. But this certainly is going to be very difficult to try and now mount the comeback that you once had in your favor, but it's just really been all on the back end of Coders, who's 11 and 4. However, this has been the very first blood that's come through from Effectini. There has been a trade now on towards Bounty. Yodi in the back finds 2, almost finds 3 with a nice flank from him, but Effectini now pieces together 2 in this round as Godfather also finds Lou. Coders goes down as the trades just all erupt at once, and now we're in a 2v2.
2. Bomb's got to somehow work their way towards a site. Effectini is going to be able to find it. And they found 2 kills, one of which was first blood. Protocol is going to be able to find the kill on the Godfather, who was peeking out the window towards the arches, almost expecting for a flank to come on through. Protocol finds themselves the last 2 kills in the entire search and destroy. And just when you think things are getting relatively close there, yet again for Arizona State, Rutgers Scarlet come through, they snuff it out, and they showcase why they are a star-studded team looking to pull themselves back from the loser's bracket.
Well, it's not the first 0-7 we've seen so far on stream today. However, this one will result in a loss. Now where Penn State had someone 0-7, but had 1 due to all of the other players stepping up, and that's kind of the big problem through both of these maps that we've seen. Map number 1, you have Effectini, who absolutely goes nuts and is popping so many multi-kills, is breaking hills solo for you, and drops something along the lines of 32, 33 kills. Then this one, you have a great 11 bomb that's dropped here from Coders, but there's just not enough help from the rest of the squad. Flashy is unable to get anything going for himself, where you have at least a little bit more consistency across the board. But even looking at that scoreboard for Rutgers Scarlet, it's not like you look at that and think, oh wow, like these guys had won this map, pretty dominantly. Bulls by 3 rounds. It was just simply done off the back end of good effective trading and just playing for the time in a lot of those situations where they had gotten the bomb down or they were playing to defend the bomb. So 2-0 up is going to be Rutgers Scarlet, the team that we weren't sure how they were going to match up against Arizona, who just came off of a 5-map series against Concord Maroon, again giving them a couple of those first initial losses, but not able to carry that in towards this series. And as we go in towards that domination on Gunrunner, they're now facing elimination.
This is going to be what's really terrifying, too, is that this is going to be on Gunrunner. Domination Gunrunner is going to be controlled by the big pinnacle of that triangle that I like to call it, smack dab in the center of the map, right outside the B flag. You're going to end up having that half wall in the boiler room. You're also looking for that shower hit to come on through for the neutralization, or if not, the C flag flip. And then you also have to worry about that green building, alleyway, all the way over to the oil turbine. All of those hits, that's going to come through from sheer SMG presence, which if you go back to the hard point, yeah, I mean, Effectini goes absolutely massive at one point in time that they were finding multi-kill after multi-kill, but then you also bring yourself back towards the meat of that match of the hardpoint gunrunner where you had multiple members for Rutgers Scarlet going absolutely off. They found themselves multi-kills across 3 members, not just on one. So you're going to need a little bit more here, ASU. It can't just be one player just popping off. You need your subs to show the heck up here and take sheer map control to come on forward, because if there's one thing I know about this Rutgers Scarlet team, they understand what it means to find these kills on the map, and they understand what it means to be able to take the map pressure away from their team. I've seen it happen before on the regular season. I've seen it happen from a multitude of these players across a multitude of tournaments now, and this is what is going to end up being. I mean, they say that map 3 is going to be the swing map. ASU needs that to surely ring true if they wanted to start working themselves to reverse sweep here.
Well, we'll see if the 4th seed out of the West can try and rally together. Quantic is going to put a big stop to that immediately as he opens up with the big 2-piece. That's going to give an opening now for B to go right over towards the side of Rutgers Scarlet. As there it is, it's now picked up. A and B hold very early. Flashy at least having a little bit of a better start off the break for us. And they're going to need some more from Flashy, some more from these other players beside our Coders and Effectini for as far as bringing it, as you're going to need all rosters, the whole entire roster rather, and all the members firing all cylinders. But with that feed coming in for us proper, we might just get a carry on from how the last couple of maps have been going. Rutgers Scarlet, they are in some great control, and they are locking down this B flag.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to Gunrunner Hardpoint, ASU, they started off on the P2 side. They got broken in after the first gunfight. What happens here on Gunrunner Domination? ASU, they start off on the favorite A flag, and then they get absolutely run over after the first gunfight, and spawns have flipped. Now the favorite AB hold coming through for Rutgers Scarlet as they have a 10-point lead here. Just with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left, that is a very quick hit coming on through. Godfather and Bounty are able to piece together too, so they're able to neutralize the B flag, sure. Flashy's able to take down Lou as they look for a flank coming through the waterway, and this could end up being the B flag being secured. It is. Flashy over the half wall is able to take down Quantic, so that's a pretty big kill within its own self, looking for mid-map control. Pinstripe kill feed is going across the board, but it's efficiently done by Bounty to come out on top of that to keep the B flag within ASU's name, and now they can continue to put on pressure mid-map and potentially look for an A flag flip for the spawns.
Yeah, they're in a great spot. They just have to make sure they're defending C, and Coders is already backed up and realize that there might be a player playing for the neutralization. He wins his one-on-one, very, very close, but that 1v1 is so massive because now they can still put some resources in towards defending B, where there is now 4 members rallying together on the side of Rutgers Scarlet to try and make a good, effective push, but this could just be shut down. Flashy and Bounty both find some kills. Flashy looks for a second, but Quantic has a chance to go big. Will not be able to. He gets denied from Godfather. C and B still holding on. No one is pushing for that overextension over towards the C flag for Rutgers. They're simply putting all of their resources in towards B, and they will get the neutralization. Lou now will find one in the back. Looks for 2 with a good snap from him. Might even be able to find Godfather for 3, as it will be his teammate that cleans him up. And while just as much as we saw the 2 flag hold for ASU, it will not hold on, and Rutgers Scarlet now will hold on to 2 flags himself.
Able to at least keep the C flag in their name for the time being. Now domination spawns are starting to come to effect. Just because Bounty was over by the A flag and they were able to find kills, more players over by the tree side. So now spawning in the northwest side of the map was Rutgers Scarlet, but this is what's really effective for them. Veteran instincts coming through the Rutgers squad. Instead of trying to go for the C flag, they recognize that they need help back over at their home flag of A and to cover on B. They don't even give C the light of day, and they just hop over the half wall. They rush over towards the coal mines, and they keep the AB hold in effect. That's what you expect out of a playoff caliber team and a championship squad. Nevertheless, Rutgers Scarlet are on a warpath again. Running through the losers bracket, they have to be upset, getting knocked down on winners round number 1, and they're able to showcase all of that and some more here exclusively in this series, and it has been fantastic to see the slaying potential coming through for this team and the sheer grit to control the entirety of this map so far.
Effectini's in the back behind A, and that player number 7 was actually searching for him. And Yodi, he's got to be absolutely tearing his hair out of his head because he was looking everywhere for that player, and he's not able to get him. It's not a 2-piece that Effectini's able to get, but it will now be the home flag secured for C once again for ASU Esports. Arizona now needs to push out to the middle of the map. Flashy grabs one, but will need to try and deal with Yodi, who has slipped through the crates. Will maybe even look to go for C himself as he actually goes for the reflank through the washrooms, and Bounty might even be able to catch on towards this. And he also has a chance to go for the neutralization towards A. You need to do something at this point in time to try and draw pressure back from C, because B has just been in the hands of Rutgers Scarlet for such a long time. And while there's only 35 seconds left in towards our first set of domination for us, Bounty will go for a neutralization and try and cut that down a bit more. But C has just went over towards Rutgers Scarlet, so now you have to go for a full cap. But Rutgers at the moment proper, they're running away with a very good cushion heading in towards side 2.
Oh, yes, they are indeed. And while with just 15 seconds left, you can go ahead and take potentially this A flag. It has actually not been fully capped, and C flag has now starting to be neutralized. But that B flag there, Austin, like you said, it has not lost any sort of red from Rutgers Scarlet since the beginning in initial gunfight. Rutgers Scarlet, they started off on the C side in this first half. 92-60 is where their lead going into the second one, to where they're starting off on the A flag. But off that initial gunfight, off of that initial 50-50 across the B flag, they just run over ASU. They get the B flag, and they flip the spawns all included. And just in that last 15 seconds is where they ended up giving up those spawns. But it didn't matter from there on out. They're still looking at a solid 32-point lead heading into this half.
And now Arizona is facing elimination in this second side. You're 32 points down. You haven't been able to hold very strong control around the B flag. But if you have a chance to do it, it's going to be right now, right here, as Godfather will move in. Watches the pinch into Boiler as his teammate out front will win his second gunfight, so that allows Quanic to move in with a nice double kill. Makes it 3, actually, as Quanic opens up the second side hot, as he's been doing this entire series. 14-9 for him, coming off a strong performance in S&D, and he's keeping it going as an unfortunate team kill from Reckless comes in as he pre-fires some shots, and, well, he panics a little bit at the very least. But C is now given opening over towards the side of ASU. They're going to hold on towards A and C, and they're going to split the resources on the map, but now some of the players are going to try and move into B.
Oh, big bop and weave right there from Quanix. 7 straight, like you said, double positive at 18-9. Having themselves a little bit of a field day here, especially in the second half. Got the little bit of a heady over top of the coal mine cart.
Nice.
Can we get 9? Thank you, sir. A little bit of whack-a-mole coming through, Godfather. Or how good are you at this arcade game, friend? Doesn't seem like he wants to play that one, but it's going to end up being Reckless that helps him out from the back. Quanic trying to find themselves 10, won't be able to do it, but they are plus 10. Double positive. Neutralization attempt there coming in for Rutgers Scarlet. Unable to find it, but the CB hold is just fine. Let's not forget, it's ASU that need to find themselves 2 flags and hold them out for the rest of this time duration while working themselves continuous neutralizations, if not a little bit of a domination, to at least come back inside this map 3.
They got them caught in a spawn trap at the moment. They're just not able to move out of their own warehouse. Coders is going to have to wait for his teammates before he can push up, but he's able to grab one. But the trades have just been so back and forth, and Rutgers Scarlet have been always coming out, trading efficiently. Blue in the back will put some pressure on towards the home flag, where he might even be able to look for a neutralization, bringing some more members back. But the spawns now have flipped out from this side of the map, so this is going to leave a neutralization potentially coming through. Not before Protocol comes in and cleans them up. Will have to win another gunfight. Will read it perfectly as he takes out Effectini, unable to get his gun up in time to try and match the gunfight. And now you are at such a deficit that there's going to have to be a 2 cap and a neutralization just about coming through. Soon to be that 3 cap, but proper. We might be seeing another team eliminated here from the CCL playoffs.
I mean, with 2 minutes and 28 seconds left, 137-91, with 1 flag being held by ASU. Yeah. Doctor, I don't know. This heartbeat's getting real low. You might have to get close to calling the time of death here, because Rutgers Scarlet, they are playing the second half flawlessly. Playing from the CB side, forcing ASU to spawn in towards the warehouse. Look at the spawn camp that Rutgers Scarlet has set up continuously. They only have so many different ways that they can flood in. You go up the stairs, you're facing 2 SMGs. You try to cut mid-map, there's another SMG poking out a boiler room. Heaven forbid you try to go over towards the oil turbine, there's going to be a main AR looking at you through that side too. This is just super tough for ASU to be able to combat in from, and when all his hope is lost, Rutgers Scarlet, they recognize that they're starting to get the spawns on the A side. They just push forward, they get the A flag back in their name, and they just allow Reckless to play their life at B.
Nothing you can do anymore for ASU. There is no 3 cap that's going to come in, and well, there's no one even close towards getting towards the 3 cap for these last 2 flags at the moment. Rutgers Scarlet, they will keep themselves alive in towards this losers bracket run, where they have been again knocked down very early on in towards it. Something nobody really had expected in that winners, but it does not matter because they can still make the run, and it all starts with this first match. And well, if anything, it's better to be knocked down and towards the losers bracket a lot earlier than later, in my personal opinion, because you can start to get that momentum, start to get all that ice built in towards your veins from going match to match to match. And it all starts right here with a nice hot 3-0 over top of ASU Esports, who just were unable to kind of bring that same amount of energy to that Concord Maroon game that they had did previously before this match. So that's going to do it. It's all said and done. Another team gets eliminated from the CCL playoffs, and well, this one was just a great showing from Rutgers Scarlet.
100% the case. Rutgers Scarlet, like you said, they got the ice in the veins. They're heated. They did not need to get shut down into winners round, or from winners round 1 into losers that early. But at least, like you said, I'm not necessarily going to agree with you that it's good to be shut down or to push down into the losers bracket that early with my fighting game experience through multitude of tournaments. But oh no, not by any means, man. I get bodied in the losers bracket because, like you said, I go up against those players. They got the ice in their veins, man, and that's what I see from Rutgers Scarlet, specifically for Lou, Quanic, and Protocol. They have been popping off and they have been ripping out at the seams. They have gone absolutely Hulk mode here in this losers round 2 match, where the scoreline's going to read 197 to 114. And man, I got to tell you, this Rutgers Scarlet team, again, on an absolute warpath. The one thing that they have going for them, again, in the loser side, is that maybe they can find themselves a certain series amount of wins. But if they continue up with this, another match that's happening off our stream, obviously, is UT Dallas up against Mississippi State. Now, Rutgers Scarlet will end up facing the winner of that team, which you talk about ice in their veins. I think UT Dallas might be a little bit unfortunate by getting knocked down in the losers bracket by Illini Orange in a 3-0 fashion back in winners round number 2. That within its own self, which I feel like is what that could end up being sent to, is what's going to be most interesting. But you got to end up just, again, giving it a full roundabout here for ASU. They showed up today. They brought Concord Maroon to a map number 5, which is something I'm sure that all of us didn't have within our playoff predictions. We definitely knew Concord Maroon was making it to round number 2. Now, obviously, ASU was going to be making it there because Liberty Red did not participate in playoffs. But bringing them to a map number 5, they looked fantastic, and you almost have to think maybe they ran out of gas. But in that hard point of Gunrunner, making it as close as they possibly did, you see the score lines at the bottom there, 250 to 223 in those opening 3 rounds on Ramaza S&D. This team really came out to play today, and they showcased a lot of good strengths. But at the end of the day, it's a marathon, and they could not keep up that pace that Rutgers and Concord Maroon had set up on them.
They could not. And well, they're now able to start to go on that warpath you talked about through that losers bracket, where they can carry that momentum from match to match to match. And we'll see if they're going to be able to do that, of course. But if we could take a look at the bracket heading in towards, the losers that we have for as far as, some matches that we do have. You mentioned UT Dallas losing theirs against Illini Orange, which is the big one. So now they find themselves with that Mississippi State current match where they are 1-0 up. Rutgers Scarlet, of course, will move on, and we'll see exactly how the rest of these matches do unfold, as it's been quite the day. And Full Sail being down here against Bowling Green State was definitely one I think I did not expect, but they will likely probably come out, I hope, as long as they don't go mental boom. I think that's kind of the difference between getting knocked down in towards the bracket early, right? You either take it on the chin and you're able to regain and start to make that flow back in towards it, find that rhythm in the losers bracket where you can start to just find match after match after match, or you're the team that once you lose that first initial series, you knock down towards the bracket and you just have nothing left in the tank to be able to kind of regain and come back in toward this. So I'm sure we'll find out how all these teams are going to be on that side. But I think our next match coming up at the moment proper, if we move towards the top side of the bracket for GSU, or rather, the bottom side of the bracket, where we'll have GSU up against Carleton, where I made a very bold prediction in this one, and now I'm going to have to live it and cast it to see if I eat my own words or not. But I'm very hyped and excited for this matchup we have.
I'm really hyped to see your face at the end of this game. Regardless of which way it goes. Like, if Carleton wins it or if Georgia Southern wins it, I'm just happy to be here along with the ride and to be joined with you here, Austin, because, I mean, that match within its own self, knowing what Carleton has behind their backs, what 47 has going for them against a star-studded team like Georgia Southern, yeah, that match is going to be nuts, by the way. And like you said, Full Sail getting knocked down a losers bracket, that the first match that we covered when we hopped on the broadcast here together, I'm not surprised anymore. That Penn State white squad is terrifying. But they have to go up against Humber, who also beat Lebanon Valley. Now, if you take a look at the top side of the winners bracket now, if you can pull that up for me, Benji, again, Arizona State got knocked down to the losers bracket by Concord. UT Dallas got 3-0'd, which was a big surprise to me personally. But Illini Orange have showed up, crit in playoff form, as they like to say. Nobody was surprised. Texas A&M Maroon, they have yet to drop a map, facing Saints and then Grand Canyon. Now they're going to be facing Purdue, which Purdue won 3-1 versus Grossmont. So again, that match that we are heading into, Visions, it's kind of hard to gauge, really. I mean, Georgia Southern is a fantastic team, but at the same point in time, the star power behind the squad of Tespa Carleton is nothing you can bat an eyelash at here. And when that's all said and done, I'm going to go back to a previous point that we made on our prediction show back on Thursday, that if Carleton does not win this first map, mark my words, they will lose the series.
I think that's very true. I think you're right. You know, that's it's literally what I said at the start.
I would drop my mic, but it's connected to my headset.
Well, there you go. If it's, as long as it's close, then I get glimmer of hope. But if they get blown out first map, then yeah, I think GSU probably just absolutely stomps them with a 3-0. But I got faith in some of my local Toronto boys with 47, then Hawk, of course, within the Ottawa scene. So it's going to be very, very close overall, I think, without a doubt. But we'll see exactly if they're going to be able to kind of bring that same amount of heat to that matchup with GSU. So we will get that started up here very, very soon for you, ladies and gentlemen. We will now throw it towards a short little break